What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Hold on, let me set this up real quick. I'm a little discombobulated right now. Alright, here we go. Turning everything up. Just put my daughter down for a nap, sat down, got some water. I'm going to be here with you guys for maybe about 30 minutes or so. Okay, cool. What's going on, everybody? Good to see you. Watched the Mandalorian trailer late last night. Fell asleep, woke up. Started talking about it on the microphone. Now I'm here with you all, ready to shoot the shit. Chit-chat a little bit about the Mandalorian. I love the tiny little short clips that we saw of Bill Burr. It puts a lot of joy into my heart to see Bill Burr in Star Wars production. I've been a fan of his stand-up for years, man. And to see him present in Star Wars is A, it's hilarious, and B, I just love it. I love it. But what's going on, everybody? Hopefully my daughter takes a decent 30-minute nap. My niece and nephew are in town. They're currently at the pool with my parents. Yeah, so my niece and nephew are in town, and for like 3 hours this morning, my nephew was playing The Force Unleashed. He had never heard of the game, and why are we not looking at the right screen? There we go. Oops. And he never heard of the game. He was playing it. He got so into it. He loves it. And dude, he's like, yeah, it enjoys it immensely. So I thought you guys would get a kick out of that. The fact that he's never heard of it. The first time he ever played it was this morning on the Xbox, and he really digs it. But welcome one and all to a little 30-minute live stream here. AT chat, Took17, Auto Fuck. Hello, Orko, Carter, Lovejoy, Lazy Wookie. Welcome to the stream, guys. Thank you so much for the super chats this afternoon. Auto Fuck. I'm just gonna say that because that's how I'm gonna pronounce it. Fook. I'm gonna say Fook. It's a little more appropriate for me. Thank you so much for the silent support this afternoon, man. I greatly appreciate that. I hope you're having a good little start to your week on this Tuesday afternoon or morning or wherever the hell you are on planet Earth. Thank you so much for the support this afternoon, man. And AT chat, thank you as well. Let me turn down the volume. I'm very much not prepared for the stream. I rushed, I clicked go live, and then I ran around the house for a couple minutes, and I sat down. There was like 10 seconds left in the song, and I turned on my microphone. I was like, oh shit, here we go. But AT chat, thank you so much, man. It's been a while. Tips, well, thank you so much for the tip this afternoon, and I hope you're doing well, man. I need to check out some of your. I believe you've been editing some trailers together, and I'll have to check those out soon. I see posts occasionally, on Twitter, but I check Twitter maybe twice a day for 5 minutes apiece when I'm rocking my daughter, for a nap or whatnot, and I tend to miss a lot of cool stuff that gets posted. But dude, thank you so much for the support this afternoon. I hope you're having a good one. And Took17, probably not supposed to, but laughed at Bill Burr's shoulder-mounted triple blaster. Yeah, I laugh too. I laugh A, because it's just awesome, and I laughed B, because it's Bill Burr, and I have a hard time, like, not. He's just so funny to me. He's definitely my favorite stand-up comedian of kind of the modern era, I suppose. And to see him in Star Wars is just instantly kind of like it's gonna make me chuckle. And I'm very curious if he's gonna be like a sarcastic guy in the show. He's got to be more than just like a gruff bounty hunter, right? They have to play up the Bill Burr-ness of the Bill Burr character, right? I love it. I love it through and through. He's made fun of Star Wars, never viciously, but just kind of like jokingly, right, for a long time. And it's always cracked me up. He can't take this shit too serious, right? And to see him in Star Wars is just, oh my God. It's like a dream come true to me for multiple reasons. But yeah, man, I laughed as well. And when I took that screenshot, I was just like smiles on my face. I cannot wait to see him, what role he plays in the show. But yeah, man, I appreciate that support this afternoon. I hope you're having a good one. And Orko, good to see you, man. Yeah, it's definitely been a while, Tips. Well, thank you so much for the channel support this afternoon, man. It hasn't been too long. I feel like I saw you a couple days ago. I streamed yesterday afternoon, but like I said, my niece and nephew are in town, so I've been a little, I haven't really done much over the weekend. I don't think I uploaded anything over the weekend other than what was scheduled, and I didn't stream. They leave tomorrow, so I'll get back into the swing of things, but for the moment, I'm just kind of hanging out with them, and like I said, they're at the pool right now. My daughter's taking a nap, so my nephew's just been playing the hell out of The Force Unleashed all morning, and like I said, he's never even heard of it, and to just kind of watch him play it has been a lot of fun. But yeah, Orko, I appreciate that, man. And Carter Lovejoy, some people are saying that The Rise of Skywalker will have the lowest opening gross of the sequel trilogy. I mean, it's hard to let me take a quick sip of water here. I mean, people have downplayed, it seems like, every single movie, right? From Wonder Woman to Captain Marvel to Joker. I mean, it seems like every movie, there's always like box office predictions and opening weekend predictions and stuff like that. And the vast majority of those turn out to be wrong. So I never listen to that kind of stuff. You know, when it comes out, then we can like analyze everything. But until then, it's just a bunch of people guessing. And if there's anything true about the guesswork, oftentimes it's just a bunch of nonsense floating out in the void, right? But it could be, right? It could be the lowest opening gross of the sequel trilogy. And it might not be. Like, that's the thing. Should I make a video saying it's going to be, it could be the lowest, or it could not be. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But kind of the history, if history is our guide, you know, for the most part, even for the prequel trilogy, you know, Phantom Menace did incredibly well. Attack of the Clones did significantly less, and then The Rise of Skywalker actually did more than Attack of the Clones. So it seems like the middle part of trilogies, and it's not just exclusive to Star Wars, but the middle part to a lot of these like sagas and franchise and stuff like that usually do less than the first and the third, or the first and the final. It's kind of interesting. So I'm expecting it to actually do better than The Last Jedi, but not as much as The Force Awakens, because, you know, the Force Awakens was just a monstrous incoming of Star Wars after a decade. You know, everybody's excitement levels and hype was through the roof, so I don't think we'll ever match that again. But yeah. Anyway, Carter, we shall see. We shall see. Until the numbers come in, it's just a bunch of guessing. And the internet is not very good at guessing, right? And Lazy Wookie, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support, man. Do you think the Mandalorian is Boba? No, I don't. For one, I don't think they would cast. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Oh my God, I was just. What's his name? Pascal. Yeah, I don't think they would cast him. I don't think they would use his voice like we've heard in the trailer. If it was Boba, they could, but I don't see that happening. I think this is, like, we've been told that this is new characters, new story. For one, I don't want it to be Boba. I don't want Boba to be in this story whatsoever. I don't want any familiar faces to be in The Mandalorian. I want it to be a completely new cast of characters with a new story, new tales to tell. And that's what I'm hoping for, and that's what I think we'll be getting. I'm not one to need like, or even want characters from the past to be introduced into new stuff. I'm one to constantly want to push for new characters and stuff like that. So, I hope he's not. I don't think he is, and I don't want him to be in the show. So, yeah, we shall see. We shall see. I just, you know, in Boba Fett, where does Boba Fett lie nowadays? We don't know. It's kind of up in the air right now. I think I made a video about it not too long ago, maybe months ago. But there's an entire like, oh, what do they call it? There's like a phrase or something like that. It's what's the cat experiment where if you leave the cat in the box? Let me look this up. Box cat experiment. Let's see. Schrodinger's cat. There's a Schrodinger's Fet. Is that what it's called? Schrodinger's Fet? Yeah, Schrodinger's Fet. The life and death paradox of Boba Fett. And, you know, what is canon, what is not when it comes to Boba Fett? That has not been written yet. So is he dead? Is he alive? According to, you know, legends, he was alive. And, you know, since now that has all been but erased, who knows? Who knows? I mean, who knows? No idea. Schrodinger's Fet. Look it up. It's kind of fun. But, yeah. I appreciate that, Wookie. Vince Wynn, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support, man. The Mando appears to be a bit of a Western, which is good. What other genres, subgenres would you like to see Star Wars shows and films to adopt in the future? Ooh, that's an interesting question. Well, Star Wars has always been a Western to me. A New Hope, I mean, you know, A New Hope is my favorite Star Wars movie, and I've always said it's a space Western. More so than any of the other films, for sure. So this kind of feels almost like a little throwback and a nod to the original film and what I love about that, which is awesome. What other genres would I like to... I don't know. It's kind of difficult because if it strays too far, it feels a little goofy, right? You can't really have well, I guess you could have a buddy cop. That would be kind of fun. A little goofy Star Wars movie in the future. You could have some horror elements for sure, right? And it doesn't have to be the entire film, but you could have horror elements of like, I don't know, crash landing on a planet, and there's an infinite number of possibilities and species all these characters could encounter. So you could definitely have some very tense, horrific moments in a future Star Wars film or series, for that example, or for that matter. I think in terms of different genres, I really don't know. You could have anything Star Wars, because Star Wars is romance, Star Wars is comedy, Star Wars is Western, Star Wars is tense and horror and drama. So Star Wars has never been just pigeonholed into being one thing. You know, Star Wars has always been a multitude of different genres meshed together in a science fiction, science fantasy setting. So you could ramp up those individual things like a mixing board and make it more romantic, more comedic, and I think it would fit if done well, right? But I don't know. I don't know. A fantasy, yeah, number name. A full-on fantasy film would be a cool idea in the future. You know, if they want to go down a little bit more of the Jedi, the Sith. I've always liked the idea of maybe investigating the Force itself and the discovery of the Force of the past, to see the first people that discovered it and learn to bend it to their own wills and wishes. Oh, let me let this cat out. I didn't even know cat was in this room. One sec. There we go. So yeah, I've always liked that idea, you know. And if you want to call that a full-on fantasy movie or show, that would be kind of a neat idea, you know. But yeah, I appreciate that, Vince. And Tom Davis, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support as well. Oh, Billy Boy Hunter. Oh, Billy Bounty Hunt. Oh, Billy Bounty Hunter. I love it. I can't do the Boston accent. Hunter. I can't. Well, nah, it's not. It's horrible. Dude, I'm so excited. Sounds like you are too. And you know, I'm not expecting old Billy Boy to have a big role in the show, but the fact that he's in there is yet another layer to look forward to, right? Favorite stand-up comedian is in Star Wars. It's just like two things that I absolutely love coming together, and I can't wait to see how his character plays, you know. But old Billy Bounty Hunter, I love it. But I appreciate that, Tom. Carter Lovejoy once again. Yeah? Yeah. My voice cracked. Weird. Yeah. Good. Will there be hello? Will be the new hello there. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, it all depends on how it's played in the show itself, right? And it's, dude, Carter, it's very strange. Like back in the day when I was watching the prequels, nobody could have guessed that hello there would become a meme in the mid 2010s and carry on. Like it's kind of funny how certain things, small things in Star Wars, especially with the prequels, and I think maybe it's a generational thing, you know. Those kids and their memes, growing up with the prequels, it's definitely caters to that in a weird way, because a lot of the things that you think a lot of the things that have become memes or catchphrases and stuff like that would have never been predicted. It's just kind of funny how certain things catapulted in terms of just being memes, I suppose, you know. It's interesting for sure. But Carter, I appreciate that, man. Yeah? Good. They're waiting for you outside. Is that when he says it? I think so. And we don't even know if that audio is linked up correctly. You know what I mean? We don't know if that dialogue is actually in sync with the things that Werner Herzog were saying. It could be completely... They love to do that with trailers. They take audio from here and there, dialogue from here and there, and splice it together to make it seem like it's, you know, one cohesive moment, one cohesive scene, but we'll see. And Mr. Orko, hello Orko, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. I think it's been a while, but I can be wrong. It's festival season here, and I've been spending time with the fam, so I've lost track. LOL. Nice. That sounds fun, man. Well, that takes precedent. That takes most importance, right? So dip out of here and go have fun. That sounds fun. What's the occasion? I'll keep an eye on the chat, but you know, like with my niece and nephew in town and currently living with my parents, we only have like a month and a half until the siding went up on our house last week. It's a house. The walls are in now. All that's left is paint and cabinets, and it's crazy. And anyway, so just being around family for the past few months has been fun, and to have a festival like that, it'd be good to. Oh, Diwali, nice. I hope you're enjoying it, man. That's awesome. I don't know. I don't really know the traditions of that. Let's see. Candles and lanterns. Fireworks, decorations of floors. Nice. That's fun. Sikhs, Hindus. That's cool. Deepavali. Nice, well enjoy it, man. Yeah, Mandalorian, streams, Star Wars all takes a back seat to that. Oh, but Diwali's over and Mando trailer dropped and I'm excited. Nice. Coming off of a fun event, and leading into another fun event, right? That's cool though, man. I hope you had fun. I appreciate that support, and it's good to see you as always. And Lazy Wookie, Lucas was on set. He brought back Maul. So, yeah, obviously he has, without a doubt, creative input on this project. But I doubt they're going to introduce... I don't think it was ever this show... I could be wrong, but this show's intention to kind of give us Boba Fett or something familiar like that. And maybe that's my own personal bias of me not wanting it to happen. I just don't think that's what they're setting out to do with this show, and you guys know how I feel about character resurrections and bringing Maul back and all that kind of stuff. I've never been a fan of that kind of thing. So it could just be personal bias from me. But, just because Lucas was on set doesn't mean that he had like a huge creative input on this. Doesn't mean that, he wrote a part for Fett. He could be a little creative consultant. But I highly doubt. Watch Boba Fett be like the first scene, right? But I highly doubt we will see Boba Fett appear. And it's kind of interesting that people... I don't know why people think he's going to appear. Is it because we see some Mandalorian armor? Is it because... I really don't know. I really don't know. I don't have that need or desire for Fett to come back. I liked... He was the bounty hunter in The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, right? In The Empire Strikes Back, his name was never even spoken. His name was just the bounty hunter. And I kind of like how that was like a little self-contained 2-film arc for Boba Fett. I'm pretty simple, I suppose. But I don't want him in the show. I want new, but we shall see. And the Deadly Llama, thank you so much for the super chat channel support as well, man. I like the fact that Boba's death wasn't really confirmed, keeps the mystery alive, and lets people have their own canon. I suppose, but what do you need? Like, what do you need for confirmation? Like for Maul, for example, we saw him cut in half and fall down, right? In my brain, that's death. Boba Fett falls into the Sarlacc pit. I see that as death. I don't need to see a character like bleed out on the screen and eyes fade and everything like that for confirmation of death. Certain scenes, it was certainly indicated in the films, and I don't think it was ever like when they were making Return of the Jedi. I can't imagine that they ever thought that people would want or think that Boba Fett was still alive. Could be wrong, but I think the intention was for him to die in Return of the Jedi, and obviously after the fact things changed in the EU, but if that's what people like, that's cool. A little mystery there, and I'm very curious if they carry anything over from Legends into canon with his survival and stuff like that. I'd be very surprised if they did that, but you never know. You never know. But yeah. Anyway, Deadly, I appreciate that, man. Headcanon is fun. Headcanon is absolutely fun. There's a lot of mystery in Star Wars when it comes to that kind of stuff, and I'm a fan of headcanon. It creates interesting conversations. It creates interesting speculation. It puts anything on the table, and sometimes there's just like real life, there's questions still to be had, and headcanon kind of serves to feed those questions, in my opinion. So anyway, I appreciate that, Llama. And Blake Defoe, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. I'm excited to see more Death Troopers in action, as they are my favorite Imperial troopers. Nice. Let me see. The Mandalorian. I'm very curious if they are... Oh, one second.
I believe no one to be true, or want it to be true, but perhaps this really is. I think this from a business perspective. A general audience will almost certainly think
oh, interesting. Wookie, thank you so much once again, man. Give me one sec. I'm a little long-winded today, as I often am. So, let me see here real quick. Yeah, I mean, if see, I don't know. Golly, I'm very curious. I'm very curious how Death Troopers and stuff like that are going to play into this show, because are there remnants? Obviously, there's going to be remnants of the Empire still floating around in the galaxy, maybe trying to come together and come into contact with one another and regroup and whatnot. So maybe there is some kind of Death Trooper platoon out there. And I don't know how they'll come into play, but it looks like the Empire, I could be wrong about this, but it almost seems like it's just going to be kind of background noise a little bit, and they're going to be sparingly used here and there. I don't know what to expect. It's kind of fun. Like, when we first found out about this project, I actually didn't expect to see any kind of Imperial remnants in the show, but to have kind of like peppered in there a little bit is interesting to see on multiple levels, because, you know, this takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi, 5 years after the fall of the Galactic Empire as seen in Return of the Jedi. And how are these Imperial remnants going to come into play? You know, a part of me is like, is the big crime boss on this planet just utilizing mercenaries, or is he has he got his people to don this armor as some kind of intimidation tactic? You know, I don't know. It's very interesting. Oh, my daughter just popped up. I'll leave her in there for like 10 minutes. She might be falling back to sleep. She just rolled over. There we go. She does that, as we all do in our sleep, right? Roll over a little bit, get a little more comfortable. But yeah. But I appreciate that, Blake. And Super Michael 98, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. How's the Dracula slash Anakin search? I didn't waste your time, did I? No, you're good, man. It's actually still on our to watch list. The Dracula film. We haven't watched it yet. We were trying to get around to watching more Halloween themed movies, like scary movies and stuff like that. But dude, like my niece and nephew are in town. Before that, my sister was in town with her new baby, and basically the past 2 weeks have been very chaotic. We haven't really been able to watch anything at all. We've just been hanging out, and I don't know if we'll be able to get around to watching it until this year, to tell you the truth. But no, I haven't looked into it yet. As soon as I watch that movie, and I plan on it, because it's let me look it up. It's been Dracula movie. It's, you know, it's one of the ones that has always been staring at me that I've never seen, you know. Geez, the last time I've watched a Dracula movie was like 5 years ago, and me and my wife watched Nosferatu. She had never seen it, so we watched it. But yeah, when I watch it, I'll definitely chit chat about it a little bit here. But I appreciate that, Michael. Oh, my daughter is sitting up. She's not crying or anything. She's just sitting there. But all right, let's see. Yeah, after these couple super chats, I'm gonna hop off here and go grab her, because I don't know if she's gonna continue to sleep. We'll see. Mr. Wolfman, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Emperor, young Skywalker, you will die. Vader, no, Emperor Lord Vader, why are you shooting no in my... Oh, shouting no in my ear. Are you by chance planning to betray me, Vader? Uh-oh, Luke. Oh, yeah. That. Well, are we talking about specifically the special edition change? I remember, the Blu-ray change. Yeah, the no change was so goofy to me. And when I found out that was going to be a change, like, we knew it was going to be a change before the films came out. on Blu-ray even. And I just remember that was one of the reasons that I made this channel. Like, I got off of deployment, and the whole time I was like researching about the Blu-rays while I was on deployment. I come home, and then they're released shortly after, a few months after I get home, and I was just like watching through it, and I was probably very annoying to my wife, then girlfriend. I was like, yeah, that wasn't in the original. Yeah, that wasn't in the original. Yeah, that wasn't in the original. Yeah, you're giving away the secret there, Vader. You're showing your intention to the Emperor as you yell no into his ear. I liked Vader's silent redemption, his silent sacrifice there, right, to save his son. The no is definitely goofy. I'm fine with everything in Star Wars. You know, there's a place for everything. People like certain things that I dislike, which is cool. But the one thing that I just can't get over, the one thing that I want more than anything really, is the special, or the original unaltered versions on like an HD 4K or Blu-ray format. It's the one thing that I've been bitching and moaning about for 8 years now. Maybe one day. But I appreciate that, Wolfman. And Muddler, thank you so much. Yeah, my daughter's not going back to sleep. She's standing up in her crib. Muddler, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. I hope The Mandalorian will help with the divide in the Star Wars fandom. Yeah, I mean, like, the divide in the fandom, I've seen it before. I've talked about this before. I was alive and well in 1999 when the prequel, or the Phantom Menace came out. I was 13 years old. I was on forums. I was a fresh baby on the newly born internet. 4 years before that, and active in forums and whatnot. And the divide, you know, it ebbs and flows. It's inevitable almost. And The Mandalorian, yeah. I hope everybody that hasn't really been into a lot of the sequel trilogy stuff, I hope they get what they've been looking for. There's like I just said, there's a place for all types of Star Wars, right? And the fact that some people dislike certain aspects of it is nothing new. It is a bummer. I wish everybody liked everything, but I don't know. Hopefully The Mandalorian kind of fits into, but the thing is, like, the people that dislike the sequel trilogy and like The Mandalorian, if that's the case, then the people that like the sequel trilogy will probably end up liking The Mandalorian as well. Right? It looks like kind of your gruff, your used and abused A New Hope style Star Wars movie. And it looks like it fits in with exactly just kind of the nostalgia that I feel for A New Hope and that space western, you know, that I love so much. So it is my favorite Star Wars movie, and this looks like it's tailored for that and for what I love about Star Wars, you know. But we shall see, Muddler. We shall see. I mean, I certainly hope that's true as well. But something we can all get behind. Something we can all unanimously agree that is fun. All right? But yeah. And Lazy Wookie, thank you so much as well. I think this not because I believe or want it to be true, but perhaps this really is Boba. I think this from a business perspective. A general audience will most certainly think this is him. Well, I don't necessarily... just because of the armor? I think the general audience, if we're talking about general audience who never even knew about Boba Fett's survival, didn't know anything about Legends or the EU, I think the general audience would think that he is dead, right? If we're talking about general audience, I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it happening. I don't know. I for one, his voice is different unless that's a trick. And I want him to be a new guy, you know. I just, we know that there's Mandalorian armor. We know that multiple people, like a lot of other people, wore Mando armor other than Boba Fett, right? So I more than anything, that maybe this is just me wanting it to be true, like the opposite of what you're saying. But I just don't want him. I just don't want it to be the case. I want a new character. You know, we're getting familiar stuff. We're getting an Obi-Wan Kenobi series. That is the familiar. I want new. And it would be, I don't know. I don't know. It would be a little unimaginative if we just kept bringing back characters over and over again. From a business perspective, I don't really see how it would. I mean, people are pumped for it, super pumped for it, and it's kind of general consensus right now that it is not Boba Fett. I mean, I feel like we've heard them say that it is not Boba Fett, unless that's a big like, no, that's not Khan twist or misdirection, but I highly doubt that. I just, Mandalorian, new character, please. I don't see any evidence other than like armor, and it's not even the same armor, that it's going to be Fett, and I see no reason that it needs to be Fett, but and I don't want it to be Fett. So, anyway, Wookie, I appreciate that, man. And if it is, then you can come on here and tell me how wrong I was. But we shall see, man. And Daniel, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Do you want Boba Fett to show up in The Mandalorian? No, I don't. Long story short, no, I don't. I think to just reuse Boba Fett, it would be unimaginative. A little cameo, I don't even want that. I don't want any characters that we're already familiar with to appear in The Mandalorian. I want this to be a self-contained story. About a Mandalorian on a planet, a Western, and I don't want any familiar faces to show up. One thing that, Star Wars loves connections. Star Wars loves to bring back old characters. Star Wars loves for Yoda and Chewbacca to have known each other. Star Wars loves for C-3PO to be built by Anakin Skywalker. For me, I don't need those connections. I would rather completely new tales to be told. And I don't see the necessity to it. Maybe it's because we have had that history of connections and stuff like that, why people are thinking that's going to be the case or want it to be the case, but I'm kind of the opposite in that opinion, Give me new, original characters to get behind. Keep things fresh. If we keep rehashing the same shit, if we keep mulching over the same shit, it gets a little stale in my opinion. But, so no, I don't, Daniel. And Blake, once again, thank you so much, man. If you are looking for a Star Wars story that is heavily influenced by Louis L'Amour, Western stories, I would recommend Kenobi by John Jackson Miller. I might have actually... let me see. Kenobi. No, I've never read this. Okay, interesting. Tatooine, a harsh desert world where... let me read the little synopsis here. Tatooine, a harsh desert world where farmers toil in the heat of two suns while trying to protect themselves and their loved ones from the marauding Tusken Raiders. Backwater planet, known to locals only as Ben. So this sounds cool. I like this. Jedi Master, hero of the Clone Wars, traitor of the Empire, and protector of the galaxy's hope, can no more turn his back on evil than he can reject his Jedi training. And when blood is unjustly spilled, innocent lives threatened, a ruthless opponent unmasked, Ben has no choice but to call on the wisdom of the Jedi and the formidable power of the Force in his never-ending fight for justice. That sounds cool. I like that. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm assuming. Let me see. It is available on the Kindle, and it's $7. So I might have to check that out. I appreciate the recommendation there, man. It's been a very, very long time since I've read any Legends books. Probably since I was in middle school. It's been a very long time. And that is not one that I've read, so. And this didn't come out that long ago. Interesting. But yeah. Anyway, I appreciate that, man. And Jedi Mandalore, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Confederacy units, gunship background, very interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I kind of have a quote unquote theory or guess about the gunship and the droids and stuff like that from the background. I'm guessing this crime boss is utilizing things of the past. It's kind of like an army of mercenaries, an army of, well, for the droids, a programmed army of droids. That are being utilized by some kind of crime boss, right? When your resources are limited, you use what you can. And maybe we're going to see a lot of things from the past pop up in this show but have a different purpose to them than their original purpose, right? That's kind of my guess. I could be wrong, but you know, it's like when United States pulls out of regions and stuff like that. A lot of the times we leave engines, vehicles, and stuff like that. We do our best to destroy them, but everybody can repair them. And those get left in the desert, and they get acquired by those who move in, right? I can see that happening in a series like this. Some Outer Rim world, a lot of units and a lot of machinery from the past being used for modern necessity by like a crime lord or something like that. Could be a flashback, like you said, Vince, but I just don't see that. Maybe we're going to get flashbacks in this, but I kind of like the idea of, you know, some of this equipment being utilized for a different reason, you know. But yeah. And Cole Schreiber, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support, man.
I hope it's not Bobo. I don't understand why people want everything in Star Wars to be so condensed and connected to original characters. You can't expand if you make the world so small.
Brandon Graham, in complete agreement. Thank you so much, man. Give me 1 sec. Cole Schreiber, I hope the Mando is actually as gritty as it looks. As do I. I was so pumped for Rogue One when we saw a lot of that stuff. And as you guys know, it's one of my least favorite Star Wars movies. And this is kind of gearing towards what I maybe hoped that would be a little more like. And I'm not getting my expectations out of whack here. It just looks like, and all the quotes we've heard from Favreau and stuff like that about him, wanting to make a show that was very reminiscent of the first act of A New Hope, where you see this lived and abused and lived in world in Mos Eisley in the Cantina, and that's kind of what his focus was. That has given me a lot of hope for this show, because that is some of my favorite stuff in all of Star Wars. My daughter's down, by the way. She's back to sleep. I should have mentioned that. So that's what happens if you have kids. They pop up from a nap, leave them in there for 5 minutes, they go back to sleep. I'm hopeful as well, Cole. And it certainly looks that way, at least visually. It just looks like, because I've always said, when I think of Star Wars, I don't think of Jedi, I don't think of Sith, I don't think of lightsabers. I love that stuff, but what I always think of instantly is that cantina. Blasters, the Falcon, the used and abused X-Wings, bounty hunters, that kind of stuff is what I love about Star Wars. And the fact that this show seems to be completely geared around that is why I'm so pumped for it. But yeah. But I appreciate that, Cole. And Vince Wynn, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support, that silent super chat and channel support. I greatly appreciate that, man. I liked in Rogue One when Darth Vader went stab. It is a cool scene, but it couldn't save it for me. But yeah, man. I appreciate the silent support this afternoon. I hope you're having a good one. And Brandon Gray 666, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support as well. I am in complete agreement with you, man. Let me read this for the folks. Brandon says, I hope it's not Boba. I don't understand why people want everything in Star Wars to be condensed and connected to original... One second. I need to fix that echo for the robot, right? I need to fix that big time. All right, Brandon, I hope it's not Boba. I don't understand why people want everything in Star Wars to be so condensed and connected to original characters. You can't expand if you make the world so small. And the last part of your statement there is something that I've been saying for a very long time. When all that happens, when everything's connected, when everybody knows and runs into everybody from the past, and all the future characters are familiar with the characters of the past, and blah, 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 everybody knows each other and is friends or has been formidable opponents in the past, it makes Star Wars, the galaxy, feel small. It's an expanding galaxy. It's huge. There's so many systems, so many factions to explore, and I don't really, there's a place for that, but a show like this, we've had connections. We've had connections in Star Wars for its entire existence. I want something like this that seemingly, at least, has no connection to the past other than that it's it's in the same world, right? It's in the same universe, the same history. That's all the connection that I need. That it takes place in the same world where events are going on elsewhere, and this is its own tale. Star Wars has always felt like that to me, right? There's a tale to be told from the random person in the cantina. If you wanted to follow him around on his journey, his smuggling operations, you could do that. There's so many tales to be told in Star Wars, and the fact that, you know, connections are always wanted, or some people see them as necessary. I've never understood it. It makes Star Wars feel small, and it's certainly not that, and it shouldn't be that. But yeah, Brandon, I appreciate that, man. We're our brains are on the same wavelength. And Lazy Wookie, once again, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Final super chat and channel support before I jump off and boringly fold some laundry. But Wookie, thank you so much, man. I want to see taking a lot of risk with The Mandalorian, a lot of jeopardy and strong emotion like in The Last Jedi, which feels so fresh and intense. I think we're going to get that. It looks like The Mandalorian, the character itself, well, you just saw like some love interest there pops up. I think we're going to see a bounty hunter with a heart of gold. I think that's what we're going to see. And I think we're going to see a lot of galactic struggle. I think we're going to see a lot of jackbooted thugs in the Imperial remnants. I think we're going to see a crime lord that is expanding his powers too much and you know, maybe causing chaos for life in the desert. We'll see. But I'm hopeful that we'll have kind of all the factors that you mentioned there as well. You know, high stakes, strong emotion, as you put it. And a story that, you know, we root for the good guys, we jeer the bad guys, and we want, you know, the Mandalorian, just from what we've seen, definitely looks like an anti-hero. Anti-heroes have a long history in Star Wars, and they're some of the best, you know, morally gray good guys you can have in a story, and I love it. But yeah, Wookie, I appreciate that, man. I could not agree more with that sentiment. And I'm looking at Werner Herzog right there, as you just saw. I'm very curious how he's going to play into this. We'll see. But Wookie, I appreciate that, man. And Tidy Wire, thank you so much as well. Thoughts on European fans like me being forced to pirate Mandalorian because of a lack of deep plot? I didn't even think about that. You're not keeping a Star Wars fan from his Star Wars Disney hyped, though. Yeah, that's a big bummer. I actually didn't think about that. You guys get it late, right? February or something like that? I don't understand it. You know, in this modern world of digital communication, I don't understand. It's easier than flipping a switch. I don't understand what the hurdles are. I don't understand what the hurdles are to just releasing it worldwide, a streaming service. It seems like it would be so easy, right? It's the internet. We all have access to the same information. We all have access, unless you live in a place where it's all restricted by the government. We all have access to the same thing. So why is it so difficult? Or what is the reason behind it? Is it some kind of... There has to be a reason behind it, right? If it was up to Disney, I would assume that it would be released worldwide. Are there restrictions for certain governments? Are there restrictions for certain, you know... So, I don't know how cable providers work, like over in Europe. I have no idea. Is it a public utility, or is the internet a public utility? I have no idea. This out of my wheelhouse, so I don't want to talk out of turn. So, like, is it? There has to be some. There has to be some external reason, because if I'm sure. From a business perspective, if Disney had a choice to release, you know, Disney Plus worldwide, especially in Europe, they would do it at the same time. They're missing out on a lot of potential customers, right? So I don't know. It's strange. It's stupid, and I wish it didn't come to that, Tidy Wire. But you know, you're probably not alone in that sentiment. I doubt it. I mean, like translations. Well, I mean, shit, you could... YouTubers hire translators all the time. It doesn't take much to translate a show, right? Especially with that kind of power and budget. Lazy Wookie, thank you so much for the final super chat and channel support. Brexit, that's why. It's not Brexit. Why would it be Brexit? I don't, well, once again, I'm not too familiar with all the ins and outs of that and why, if that's the case, I don't know. I doubt it's that. There's probably a lot of other streaming services that have popped up, a lot of apps and businesses that have popped up since that has gone on, and I just can't see that being the reason, you know? It's weird, though. It's definitely weird. That doesn't really make sense to me. People are in the chat probably would know more about that than me. I'm just a dummy that lives in Florida and has blinders on to a lot of that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I'm gonna look into that after the stream. I'm very curious who has the reason as to why it's not kind of a worldwide release, especially in Europe. But yeah, interesting. But all right, guys, I'm gonna jet, knock out some stuff around the house before my niece and nephew come back. And like I said at the beginning of the stream, my nephew played about 3 hours of The Force Unleashed this morning. He had never heard of the game. He's 12? Yeah. He had never heard of the game, and he played it, and he loved it this morning. So I'm sure he's antsy to get back and fire up the Xbox and play it a little bit more. And I'm pumped to see him play it some more. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate all the support this afternoon. Don't know if I'll be doing a stream tonight. The next stream will probably be tomorrow afternoon. So I'll probably skip tonight just because, you know, like I said, my niece and nephew are in town. I'm going to want to hang out with them as much as I possibly can before they leave tomorrow. So, all right, everybody. Let me run down the list. Lazy Wookie, Tidy Wire, Brandon Gray 666, Vince Wen, Cole Schreiber, Jedi Mandalore, Blake Defoe, Daniel, Madrano, The Muddler, Wolfman, Super Michael 98, Deadly Llama, Hello Orco, Carter Lovejoy, Tom Davis, Took 17, and AT Chat, and Otto Fook. Thank you guys so much for the super chats and channel support this afternoon. Yep, so no stream tonight. Hopefully I'll get a couple videos out this week. Like I said, they're leaving tomorrow morning, so try to get back into the swing of things. So, all right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, your evening, your morning, wherever the hell you are on planet Earth. And I will catch you all on the flip side. See ya!